Hello, everybody. 30 Club, 21 Club, whatever your age may be, boys and girls, children of all ages. How's it going, everyone? Echo to start. That's new. Ay caramba. It's starting that early. This is going to be a long 3 hours. Come on up. Come on up, Chris. Hey. What you doing just lingering down there? Come on. We've got Christmas here with us, which you may or may not be able to see on camera. She and I took a nap together a little earlier, which is why I am actually a little bit later to start this. And yeah, I wanted to start this a little earlier. That was Birth Pains of Astral Projection from Modeling of the Well. The stream is all about your favorite songs, and whenever I was 21 years old, this was one of my favorites, or that was one of my favorites, should I say. I love that song and that band, Modeling of the Well. At that point of my life, really of history, Modeling had already closed up their shop and had become Chaodot. Not with the same membership, but with the same master, the same ringleader, which was, and it still is, Toby Driver. Chaodot still exists. They, in fact, have a brand new album that just dropped a couple of weeks ago. And I have a track from there that I just absolutely adore, which I'll play next, actually, because I want to hear it as well. And that song is entitled Midnight Mystic Rise and Fall. Oh no, this isn't Grammarly. It's not, it's for speakers. Yay. YouTube ads are so awesome. No, they're not. Oops. Let's start that from the beginning, shall we? Hi Mario, how's it going? Mango's in the building. We have Starlight Delight, our brand new 21-year-old member. We have John, who I just saw. I saw Clemmy Cats earlier. And Christmas is not shy whenever you meet her in person, but whenever it comes to a camera, she is a bit fidgety. I believe there's a kitty actually behind the camera, which is behind the computer. That's Blazy. In fact, let me just go ahead and take you on a little tour. This is Ember over here. She's currently sleeping in Monster Box, number 4. If you ever need cheap cat beds, Monster Boxes apparently are perfect. They refuse, for the most part. I had to go check in my actual cat bed that's in here. But for the most part, they only want to sleep in Monster Boxes. And then Blazy, little Blazy's back here sleeping. He's behind where the camera is. So they are. Hopefully that close-up didn't cause any audio problems. Yeah, Christmas napped with me this afternoon, which she was already laying on the couch here, and I just curled myself around her, if I'm being honest. It's usually the other way around, but returning the favor was very comfortable. Man, I was not in the best of mental states this morning, I can tell you what. I've been sort of jostling between positivity and negativity over the course of the past 24 hours. I don't know what it is. Part of me thinks it's because of the season, because it is coming to be fall, and I always get bummed out during the first part of fall because it means winter is coming. No, this is not sponsored by Game of Thrones, but winter for me means misery. But that will probably make me happy. Evil Toad, what is your update? Do let us know. Do you think you listen to any bands with members charged or accused of volatile things? Oh yeah. If you listen to black metal, there's a good chance that you've listened to a ton. I'm just going to be honest with you right there. If you listen to black metal, there's a good chance you've listened to a ton of them. You applied Friday, but you haven't heard back yet, Mango? Well, that is only yesterday. They'll probably take the weekend to consider it. What kind of work would it be? Pen Pencil, how you doing? Good to see you again. Christmas is right now. Christmas likes to play in secret, but she's gonna be caught on camera right now. I'm gonna catch her on camera. Look at her. Look how much fun she's having. I'm being very careful with the camera because if Blazy wakes up, she is going to want to play with the cord and the camera itself. Scott, nice to see you, man. Welcome back. Glad to see you again. Ooh. $15.30 an hour. Not bad, Evil Toad. That's $30K a year easily. Excuse me. Oh, Nate, I'm very much in your boat typically as well. For whatever reason, most cases whenever I apply for a job and I don't hear back from them, it's because once I finally harass them about it, they tell me I'm overqualified. And I think it's the stupidest thing, because I then tell them, hey, I kind of need this job. Because I applied for a couple of places back in July before I announced my retirement was going to be coming. And that was the problem that I ran into with the two positions that I went after. Which it's kind of insulting to me because both of them had pretty good salary options and benefits that would be just killer. But apparently I'm overqualified to do dispatch, despite, organization being kind of one of my things. Hey, that's an important job, Evil Toad. Not one that I think I could do. I would be always afraid of cutting myself or stuff like that. I know folks that wouldn't do that job because of moral reasons, because of what happened to the cow and all that stuff. But these are the same folks that eat meat and don't think about that at that point. But whatever. Yeah, see, I'm in that same boat, Nate. I'd rather hear a no directly from somebody than hear nothing at all. And I got, there was, back in 2015, whenever I had just lost my job at the music store, and before I decided to go full-time at, with YouTube for 2016, there was a job that I was going after with essentially what they did and what I would have been doing would have been repair of company printers, and then you also do sales for that as well. So you go to, that camera's going to be shaking because of Blazy. Clients would purchase printers from the company, and then you would be a dispatch that would go off and do tech support on them whenever they have issue. Either that or do installations if they do make purchases, things of that variety. I went on initial interviews. I even did a drive around with one of their workers, so everything seemed to be going extremely well. I guess it came down to myself and one other person, and they went with the other person way that I discovered that was because I didn't hear from them for 6 months. And I didn't find out the reason why I didn't get it until a year and a half later, because a family friend has a friend that worked there, or like a member of their family that worked there, and stated something along the lines of, oh, he talked negatively about his former employer. So for days I tried to put my mindset back on those interviews to think about if I ever had done that. And I must have. But I can guarantee that I know that anything I would have said would not have been that detrimental, where it would have seemed like I was being sort of like a spoiled brat about it, or was being saucy about it. But man, it was very insulting to never have gotten a call where somebody could have had the kindness to say that to me from the company, because those are things that you can grow off of. Like, sure, you're going to feel shitty about it directly after it happens. However, you also can learn from those experiences. Hearing that from some third party way after the fact and not getting a phone call is horrible. And this year I recently had the opportunity to go back and, hire through them again, and I outright refused. Because of what happened. Because of that experience in 2015 and not hearing about the result until 2016, because it was like the winter of 2016, like right past Christmas of 2016. No, I don't want to work for them. Because if they do that to me as a new hire, what are they doing to their employees who are working for them? Like, what kind of mudslinging and bullshit is happening there? That to me sounds and smells of a company where even if you've been there for a long time, your job or your, protection doesn't ever feel completely secure. Yeah, in that sense, Evil Toad, I don't think you would be back there. I think that would be reserved for butchers. I had to think of the word. Those who have, I guess, a butchering degree, a butcher's degree. Those that have gone through the butcher's education, that would probably be their section. Or a carver, I don't know. I don't know what the exact term would be for that. I would think it would just be a butcher. But happy early birthday to you, John. You'll be watching Week 3 of the NFL while celebrating your birthday. It's not that bad of a deal, to be perfectly honest. I'll be watching the Steelers tomorrow, hoping that Mason Rudolph's able to pull a Ben Roethlisberger from 15 years ago and run the table after starting 0-2. And really, he looked good last week. He looked real good last week, so I have some hopes out there that he ends up doing a good job for us. I don't think it's the same quality of team, but I think he's going to be a good quarterback that's finally going to get his opportunity. Hey, let's take a listen to another favorite track. Let's go all the way back. We're going to go all the way back to 1978 with this one. Because this is a track that I loved for a long time and didn't know who it was. Like, I'd heard this song so many times in my life I recognized it more for its actual music than the individual who was responsible for it. And then, years back, I of course found out. Here's Baker Street by Jerry Rafferty. I love this track. Enjoy it. It isn't all metal here, and this one is not going to scrabble. Well, I'll do that later. Do I think the Steelers can still make the playoffs? I don't know about that. I think that's a stretch. Not that I don't have total belief in Mason Rudolph, but the Ravens look really good, and I think that the Browns are going to wake up. So I think what may happen is that the Steelers may get an opportunity to make a run, and then it would probably die off a little bit. Wow. What's going on, B? What's going on, brother? Going toward number 1. What is up, man? Thank you very much, kiddo. Goddamn super chat, though, am I right? Oh, God. Sounds, noises, things like that. But yeah, the Steelers, I think, still have an opportunity to do it. Obviously, it's still very young in the season, but it is also one of those deals where the AFC have a lot of great talented teams, and there are only so many spots that are available. So that's 5:04 heading toward numero uno, thanks to Brendan James, who, in case any of y'all want some context, growing up, that kid, one of my best friends. Still is, obviously, but I'm just saying that back then, he was living in the States. In fact, he was living right here in town, and damn, we did some freaking shit. We painted the town red. Baltimore Aviation, you can do so the same way that Brendan James just did, using Super Chat right here on YouTube. Sorry about that little Richard Nixon moment there. Or you can go to the PayPal link that you see below. And hey, Brendan, dude, $5 means 5 minutes worth of airtime. What's one of your favorite songs that's 5 minutes long, dude? Pop me a request, boy. Hey, you're very welcome, Campbell. I appreciate that. I know I've been sort of like just talking out of my rear for the past 27 minutes, but for those who want to donate for a song request, have your favorite songs played on stream, what you do is you go either down to Super Chat, and you donate there. It is $1 per minute. Radiohead's Optimistic. Very, very good. Well, see, had this been, 18 years ago, it would have been obvious. It would have been obvious. However, these days, I'm not sure, man. Tastes have changed throughout the years, Dude, imagine what my favorite song would have been in 2001. Ugh. I don't even know if I remember what my favorite song. Probably something Iron Maiden. Knowing me. Or Opeth. Definitely Opeth. Changing my pick. It's Opeth. Anyway, you can do that by going down to the Super Chat. It's $1 per minute. Or you can go to the PayPal link that you see below if you use PayPal. Once again, still $1 a minute. Make sure you request what your request is. Not to sound redundant. And make sure you also put either the number 1, 2, 3, or 4 to indicate which of the bid war items that you wish to apply your funds to. We are doing a bid war. Those are for lists that would be in December, right before the channel shuts down. Only for the week. Wow, that's another good song. Yeah, a little In Flames action from from Clayman or the Tokyo Showdown, the live album. I had a dude just actually send me a copy of Reroute to Remain from In Flames. But yeah, I did like that song quite a bit. I haven't listened to that in a long time. Damn. What about the Pirates this year? Oh, pen, pencil. we had so much hope at the All-Star break, and then, they had to play the second half of baseball. And then the Pirates reminded us why they were the Pirates. Josh Bell went completely ice cold. We thought he was going to hit 50 home runs this year. Brian Reynolds has been a nice touch, Great rookie campaign, was right in the hunt there for the batting race. But our pitching decided that it was just going to, fuck off the Thailand or something. Balder Aviation says, how about a little bit of, ooh, wow, what the hell? Some Slim Pickens does the right thing and rides the ball. What the fuck? Wow, okay, we're going to try to decipher this. Rides the bomb to hell by the offspring. I got that. Kevin B. Scalmold and Slim Pickens does the right thing. I take it that Kevin B. Scalmold and Slim Pickens is the artist there. Cavaldying by Scalmold. Oh, okay, wait a minute. Cavaldying by Scalmold. Slim Pickens does the right thing and then rides the bomb. Wow. Okay, I freaking just bunked that to freaking death. Hey, where's that 10 heading to, Balder Aviation? Thank you very much. I appreciate it. We're going to be rolling till the music ends or until about 7 o'clock, and then after 7 o'clock I will be heading out, so we do have a time limit, I guess, if that makes any sense. Optimistic by Radiohead coming up next. Nice choice, B. G-darn. G-darn. Mind listening to charities. There's no charity here. It's the bid war videos that you see on your left. So you do see the 4 over there. I'm surprised I haven't had anybody come in here and yell at me about the As I Lay Dying video yesterday. I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet. Do you think Death is never talked about with the Big 4 because the mainstream couldn't handle his vocals? This is live. What the hell? Hold the phone here. Wait. What's the deal here? Yeah. That is live. Goodbye. So long, farewell. Whenever you have no other options. Man, a lot of this is just live stuff. The hell, is Radiohead some sort of jackasses about YouTube videos? Probably. Not because they're jackasses, but just because that one's live. July 4th, 2000 in Grosser Sensdale in Berlin, Germany. Well, let's just pop this one on. This is Optimistic and In Limbo both. The hell with it. I was trying to avoid that one because those 2 tracks like that are combined together usually are trying to avoid copyright and sometimes are pitch shifted. We'll see what happens here. That sounds pitch shifted a little bit. It is a bit down-tuned. This is going to be real weird whenever Tom starts singing. It's going to sound like he's drunk. It's going to sound like the drunk version from karaoke night down at Smitty's. At $10 is heading toward number 10. Or number 10. Listen to me. Yeah, usually you find a little bit of problems with stuff like that. There's a lot of folks out there that avoid copyright by either pitch shifting or combining things to try to avoid copyright detection. But I know that one thing has to be true. I know that if I, for example, tried to upload a track, I would run into copyright problems immediately. I've noticed that the same is not true in other corners of the globe. If I ever listen to a song at 75% speed, oh god, yeah. Hi Mike, what's going on, man? I have done it. I've also done 1.25. That is really, really fun to do with songs like Take On Me by Aha. There's in fact a whole Alvin and the Chipmunks album that was produced that took versions of songs that they did and pitch shifted them down to like, I think it was half speed, and they are haunting sons of bitches. I'll tell you what. But the thing about Death, though, is that the reason why they're not a member of the Big Four is because the Big Four was meant for just thrash metal. If you're talking about the Big Four of death metal, they're a part of it. Big Four of American death metal, should I say. And that's a guarantee that they are a part of that. Hey, that was weird. Monitor comes through with the $12 drop. Wants to hear Ava Dragler with Anglin Irumet, Angel in the Room. And also wants to toss on for some Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds with the Weeping Songs and Hex Vessel's Cosmic Truth. It's heading toward number one. Number one is clearly the big boy of the room. I will remind everybody that number four is a rant. And that if we hit $600 on all four of these, there will be a bonus fifth video that will also be a rant. That will talk about the worst albums of the 2010s. It would be the death metal big four. That would be Morbid Angel, Death, Deicide, and Obituary. That is the big four of Florida American death metal right there. Whether or not that's official is the guess of anybody, to be perfectly honest. $19 coming in from Jeffrey Dodson. He says, first things first, apologies for the other day. Forgot about the $1 a minute rule last time. That out of the way. Got $19 on number one. Was thinking about putting it on number four again. Bye, eh? And 4 songs. Starting off with this wonderfully dark track, 4 minutes 30 seconds. Current 30 or American Dyslexia. Current 93, She Took Us to the Places Where the Sun Sets. And then we have Scott Walker, Caustics Caustics. Then we have Great Baby with Death March. And Summoning the Glory Disappears. And he says exactly what I'm thinking. Phew. Damn. Cannibal Corpse, you know what? Replace Deicide with Cannibal Corpse, yes. That is actually accurate. That's me making an error. That is me making an error in, yeah. No, Cannibal Corpse, I believe, was prior to Deicide, so they came first. Because Cannibal Corpse was doing stuff in the 80s. Deicide's first album, I think, didn't drop until 91. I'm going to look for the Skull Mold song. This is going to take a couple seconds. There it is. Cavening. Actually, I just pronounced that like shit because I suck. I'll actually post this in chat. Because I don't even think that Last FM is going to like decide to recognize this because they're a bunch of cunts. I think Deicide is the only band out of those that were mentioned that has a very love 'em or hate 'em fan base. They are a band that some absolutely adore and hail as what they truly are, one of the forefathers of death metal. But there are an equal number that just feel that their sound got very vanilla over the years. And even to this day, whenever I think about Deicide, I think about how the sound really decayed. You know, Glenn Benton alone was quite a personality. And then after he did some work with Vital Remains, I believe that the overall feeling was that Vital Remains was just the superior product. Oh man, Iron Maiden's X Factor. Whew. The good Blaze Bayley album. Scriptacy Deathcore, I would consider them more just flat out death metal. And I think they would too, considering whenever they came out there was no deathcore. Deathcore did not exist. It was not yet an idea that had been put to paper. And I wouldn't even say that they became deathcore either. It was more of just their sound morphed a little bit as they grew. And of course, they are responsible for the Unspoken King, which, yay, what an album. Woo. Got the 19 from Jeffrey factored in. Gunnar Odinson, how you doing, sir? Nice to see you. Who started deathcore? That's honestly kind of a cool question. One that I'm not sure I really know the answer to, if I'm being honest. That was kind of a thing that just popped up to me. I started to hear that term whenever, in the latter part of the 2000s, or the latter part of the aughts, as some people like to say, Suicide Silence and that crop of bands, you know, Whitechapel included, started to get big. So the term became a little bit more understood or a little bit more recognized. But the thing of it is that All Shall Perish is listed among those groups in deathcore, and I was listening to them back in, good God, 05? Maybe like 06? So maybe they played a role in that. It's a movement that was a little more underground in the beginning to middle portions of the 2000s. It kind of came about because of taking metalcore a different direction. You know, melodic death metal, take out the melody, just make it death metal or deathcore. What would Immure have been? I don't know. Immurecore. I don't know what you would call that group. Many years ago, I would have just called them garbage. But, Partycore, maybe? If you really wanted to get, you know, if you really wanted to slice things up into neat little carvings of subgenres, Partycore would probably work with them and Attila both. Calling Rainbow underrated, damn. Bold move. That's a big move, boys, right there. I don't know if I can call Rainbow underrated. I don't think I can call them underrated. Underappreciated by some that just sort of stop with Sabbath and Priest? Maybe so. That makes a little bit more sense. I feel that Rainbow has gotten a lot more love over the course of the past number of years, especially post Ronnie James Dio's death, from the new generation. Because here's the thing, there's a whole generation out there that still loves and adores everything that Rainbow has done. Especially those who lived through it. Especially those who lived through it. It's absolutely wild. I don't think that there was any doubt that Dio was going to get the love that he did. And the main reason for it was the way that he carried himself, both on the stage and off. You know, he was known as the biggest little man or the heavy metal hobbit for a reason. You know, he was small in stature, but he had a huge heart. He cared, and his voice was inspiring to so many vocalists. You know, you take a listen to what he does, and you can easily see power metal just thrust within. You see some of the classic heavy metal acts that have definitely taken some influence from what he did. Because remember, Rainbow was the first part of the 1970s. They were pre-new wave of British heavy metal. Because essentially they weren't really a metal band, and they're more of a rock band, like a hard rock group. They fit that veneer more than a heavy metal band. And really, whenever you consider it, Ritchie Blackmore has never truly been part of a heavy metal band, aside from that like very short stint that he did, I think it was with Sabbath, during what was it, the late 80s? Can I name some bands that I tried to get into, but I didn't like the vocals? Cradle of Filth at first. First time I ever heard Cradle of Filth, I was really off-put by Danny Filth. I was really off-put by it, but I grew to respect it and even enjoy it quite a bit. And I, in fact, just got a couple more Cradle albums in the mail yesterday from a gent who's helping me out with a couple of titles from the 1180. Sir Lord Baltimore. There you go. Now you're talking proto-metal, Jeffrey. That is your proto-metal right there. That and MC5. Waterblanc sneaking in a donation on the wrong side of what I'm used to from him. Was it here, Tid, with Drumhetton's Good Dinner. And I know where that's going. Is there two there or just one? I've got two completely different numbers there. It says 173 on what I'm looking at, so that's where I'm going to go, and that's going to apply to numero uno. The one. You know what? Since I also see 212, we're just gonna make it an even 2 and call it a day. How about that? Let's make things easy, shall we? Let's make things freaking simple. There were a number of groups that felt like they could have fit the mold, but amazingly, what I find crazy is that here in 2019, there are some that don't want to consider bands like Priest and the like as metal groups. They think that it's not a hard enough style of metal to classify. They want to place it more in the hard rock department, which, I'll be perfectly honest with you, like, I'm not somebody who goes nuts over classifications and stuff like that. I'm not somebody who goes over the top about classifications like that. But I think you really need to know who your legends are. Slim Pickens does the right thing and rides the bomb to hell by The Offspring. I sure screwed up announcing what these songs were, I'll tell you that. So I have to give some big time props, credit, and laughs to Balder Aviation for just screwing my freaking mind up. I love you, buddy. You are welcome here any and all the time. And the funny thing is I even listened to this Offspring record back whenever it came out, and I was kind of like, toward it. You have to remember that there's a lot of music out there that has sort of been lost to time and space. Like, for example, if you look into the archives of European progressive music, you'll find a band called Kayak, which, if you find one of their records, you'll just kind of look at it curiously and be like, what? And you find out, whenever you do your research, that they started in the early 1970s, or maybe even the late 60s, and they are still active today. The album was pretty weak. It sold weak, too. Valley Paradise Lost? Absolutely. Lucky, I have one of their records. I'd have to dig through my box over there to display. It's an American version of one of their albums, though. I got it from a dude that was liquidating a lot of his vinyl doubles, or just vinyl that he didn't know what it was. He was basically being forced, not really forced, but he had to get rid of some of his collection and just tossed it on me. And I looked at that and I immediately recognized the name. I said, Kayak, oh wow, man, that's prog right there. I'm taking that. Kayak, I feel, is one of those bands where the name always feels like it's been just on the tip of your tongue, but you never have actually heard a single song from theirs. In America, that is. I believe that they had one song that broke through in America, and by breakthrough, I don't mean like number one. I'm talking like it received some airplay. Back in the 1970s, or maybe even it was the early 80s. I can't recall what the song is, though. I researched this group months ago. Maybe even years ago, and I'm like remembering small chunks of that data. Oh my gosh. If you want to talk about glam, you can dig into until you're blue in the face and find glam bands from the 1980s that lasted like 1 or 2 albums. I mean, glam was a big deal, and actually one of the main reasons why glam and thrash both started to fade into the sunset by the tail end of the 80s, and we see this still to this day. Okay, before we get into the next piece of music, I want to talk about this real fast. To this day, we still see the same problem that has actually existed all the way back in the 1960s with the British invasion. Anytime that something gets super hot, and this has been a recurring theme within the music business, they sign, and that would be record labels, companies, etc., they sign every band they can that fits that sound because they see dollar signs. They ignore the fact that the reason why folks really enjoy something is not because of, or is because of the songs, because of how they sound, or, the lyricism and things like that. It's not just because, oh, they're British, or it's not just because, oh, they're an arena rock band. Back in the 60s with the British invasion, it kind of worked, because those that were big enough became household names for pretty much the rest of the time, and there was a lot of American versions of Brit invasion stuff that eventually would branch off and do their own thing. I'm even going back and thinking about a group such as Herman's Hermits. Try saying that 5 times fast. Enjoy yourself. In the 1970s, it was hard rock or arena rock. But there was also a huge folk boom during the 1970s also, or Americana boom, that you would hear. Neil Young being part of that. But then you also look at Cat Stevens. And on the hard rock side, it was bands such as Foghat, Lynyrd Skynyrd, Led Zeppelin was in there, despite the fact that they were more hard rock. You had Kansas, you had the Allman Brothers Band. The list really could just be eternal. Grateful Dead, toss that name in there as well. Journey came along, Boston came along. You had these one-word band names that came along and sold literally 10 million records on their debut album in the form of Boston. They did that with their first album. It was ridiculous. More Than a Feeling was such a big song. And the rest of that album is no slouch, by the way. But in the 1980s, in the 70s, audiences ate that up. But in the 1980s, thrash metal had a shelf life. And so did glam metal. It had a shelf life. Because with every single cycle, after so long, those bands start to release, those popular bands start to release albums that are more duds. They're duds, not so much, well, actually, with some of those, they're duds because of content, but they're also duds because the collective conscious is getting tired of that idea and moving on to something else. Because music is continuously turning the wheel. Because there's always something new that is starting to break out. There's always something different that is starting to take shape. You take a listen to New Wave in the 1980s, and you realize that it morphed a little bit more into the alternative music that we saw in the 1990s. Not that the bands did that. They continued to play the music that they loved and influence the way in which they influence. But fans of New Wave music eventually were hearing artists of a more alternative scope, or were listening to them concurrently, and then those artists started to get big hits, such as Losing My Religion by R.E.M., which came in the early 1990s. Grunge music came out. Everything is cyclical. And that's why I think there's a lot of frustration these days, because there's a large feeling out there that the cycle is taking way too long. that the spinning of the wheel has actually slowed down, and we've been in this cycle where pop music has been the popular thing for way too long, that it's been something that's been true for 15 years, when in reality that's not been all that true. The bubblegum age has been over probably for about 5 years, if we're being honest. You know, the bubblegum boom is done, and we're now in the mumble rap age, I suppose, or the sort of a rebirth of hip-hop and R&B. Currently, everything is cyclical. And the only reason why it seems like it's different now as opposed to back then is because back then there was outward coverage on television and radio that really exposed that popularity, or really showed and stayed on the pulse of those booms, whereas now most of those options are gone. And it's a damn shame. You know, MTV still exists. They don't play a single song. You know, they are no longer a music video network. But then again, music videos aren't vogue anymore. You know, YouTube videos are vogue. Anyway. We have Angel in the Room, or Englen i Rummet, by Eva Dahlgren. We are getting into a trio of tracks from the lovely and wonderful Maru. This is not that song. This is an ad for St. Jude's, which, by the way, really good charity. St. Jude Hospital, if you happen to be in America, it's an excellent charity. I highly recommend. Direct Relief is another good one. Oh, the Doors, hell yeah. Someone's mentioning Alice in Chains. I haven't played a single Alice in Chains song yet within these favorite song streams. Gonna have to do that. Any thoughts on Vaporwave? Some of it's super chill. I don't get some of the others. I couldn't even tell you individual artists, man. It's one of those deals where every so often, if I want to chill out, I'll just put on, like, I'll look on YouTube Vaporwave collection, and I'll just toss it on. And if the first track, you know, if I love the first track, I'll keep it on. You know, and that's what I'll do if I'm typing something up for an hour or two, or if I'm working on a project, or just want to, you know, veg out. I at one point was not keen on Vaporwave. I thought it was kind of like folks trying to be too highbrow with their humor and stuff, or with their, you know, with what they were trying to do. Now I really don't mind it at all. I think it's a nice niche. Oh, Kendrick is awesome. I love Kendrick, man. Oh man, Nothing Face. Oh. Again, and Jay Costa's correct. He did ask about the band the other day. The band that I listened to was not Nothing Face. It was, now I'm going to forget the name of that band. Son of a bitch. But I listened to some Nothing Face, but not much. I need to remember who played with Saliva back in 1990. No, not 1990. Back in 2005? Question mark? 2005, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Saliva and Nonpoint. There it is. Dude, it's ridiculous, man. Yeah, the thing, Brendan, what I really love whenever I'm at work, like whenever I'm at tax office, and I know there's going to be a long span of time that I'm just going to be sitting there pretty much on my hands waiting for somebody. Post-rock, man. Especially If These Trees Could Talk. Listen to a good bit of If These Trees Could Talk. Pelican. And also, another great thing for those times for me has been shoegaze in general. Like Ride. Oh, man. Good times. Good times. Svetlana is back, and she is freakier than ever. What's going on, girlfriend? How you doing? How's the stocking business going? And you missed the first part of the stream, Svet, where Christmas was hanging out with us. She was on my leg, and then she was playing. That was amusing right there. She just puts it out there, man, you know? She's like, yeah, I'm freaky and kinky. Y'all don't even know. Whips and chains just beat my brains. Yeah. Yeah, Christmas took a nap with me this afternoon. That was fun. It actually was. It was pretty cool. I was very happy with it. I have no idea. You're right, I don't. And I probably never will. Yeah. We have the Weeping Song from Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds up next. What the hell? Oh.
January 2017.
January 2017. Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds with the Weeping Song coming up. Mara's saying that must be because of it being autumn. I think that's an honest to goodness good explanation. I really do. Your cats are fat and lazy. What have you been feeding them? That's the thing I would say. Can Eddie please marry you? I don't know, man. I think I'll have to take that up with Eddie. Either that or you're going to have to, tie him up in your basement and force the issue. I hope nobody misses him, I should rank every single song in history. Good Lord. You see, that right there. See, MTM89 obviously really wants me to stay on YouTube forever because there would have been a good way to keep me on YouTube forever. Coverkillernation, you need to rank every song in history. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. We're going to rank every single song in history, starting with number 147,312,158,403. What kind of huge is it? Because, is this a weight problem or is this a celebrity problem? What of Eddie is actually bigger, his celebrity status or his weight? There be the question. And honestly, if it's a weight thing, or really for anything, if you make an enticing enough case, none of those things matter. None of those things matter, It's gotta be smooth. Don't just swoon up and say, I want you to violate me in ways that you don't even know exist. Or sometimes you just have to be forceful. Throw them up against the wall and say, violate me in ways I don't even know exist. Yeah, but again, it's a great question of, is he wider than he is famous? I mean, that sounds like a math problem, honestly. Showing my true kinky colors? Yeah. It's in there somewhere. Imagine if you end up with one of those people that basically has to punch his own penis just to get it erect. That's not me. Thank God. How much does AC/DC pay Rosie for each show? I would think a lot because there's a whole lot of her. You never got the 9 Inch Nails worship? I never got the 9 Inch Nails worship in the 2000s. Like, there's some good stuff in there. I guess I'm just a traditionalist that loves the 90s material. But it's also, admittedly, not something that I wake up and have to listen to. Like, it's something that I enjoy listening to maybe once or twice a year. What's the last concert that I went to? last year, it was Weezer and I can't believe I forget who they played with last year. Oh boy. Dagnabbit. I know someone's going to correct me in chat. Well, not correct me, but let me know. But damn, I cannot think. Who did they play with? God, where is my mind? That's a hint. It's a hint that I can't think of the band name that did Where Is My Mind Help. Jeepus Christ. I love my chat. The last 3 messages. Weezer is a solid band. I work out 7 days a week and eat healthy foods. I love hot guys. With Pixies. Thank you, Jesus. God. How could I not think of the Pixies? Pixies were awesome, man. That whole show was actually really, really good. However, I will say this. 2 things about the evening that were kind of was that I don't think Weezer's version of Africa is very good. They did play it there, and it was just okay. I think it was better live than it was in the studio. And despite the fact that Island in the Sun on an acoustic guitar is very intimate, and that, again, was a super cool experience, in retrospect, I think it would have been super cool if it would have been completely electric and kind of like extended. I don't know. I think I'm being super nitpicky in that case. Cosmic Truth by Hex Vessel. As my phone is basically saying, "Pay attention to me! Something has happened." If you're over at Hex Vessel, this is a great track. But again, very somber. These are very somber tracks that we were in a somber place of our stream, which directly fits into my mood from earlier. If I'm being completely honest, I was bleh. What we want coming in once again and said, my boss took my incognizant decision to attend overtime on stream this week. As such, I got some hitos for you. Frank Boyden Group with Kronberg Park. Well learned, well read, well spake, well spoken. And a nice tour right there. Again, came across as 170, whatever, but oh no, Echo, boo. Don't mention echoes, Mike. We'll talk about Pink Floyd for another hour like we did in the stream on Thursday. Because, man, that stream devolved. Not a Weezer fan? That's okay. That's fair. My tech department would probably kill you, but that's really not for me to decide. He didn't take it by heart. I figured not. Let's talk some Zepp. Okay. What's with all these people thinking that Led Zeppelin 4 is the best album of all time? Discuss amongst yourselves. I'm just going to sit back here and be the shithead that started this. Also, Tiamat. Oh my gosh. First of all, bitch of a boss in La Milana. Second of all, what a band. I will admit that I will always have a chub, a rub for Wild Honey and that era. Their 90s, 2000s era has some very mixed results associated with it. But oh man, Chub a rub dub for freaking Wild Honey, bro. Chub a dub rub. Oh my gosh. I don't mean to sound a little disgusting, but I bet fucking to that album is a cosmic fucking experience. Shitting experience, damn. Wowzer. This is getting very sexual. I know, but that album is crazy. If you've not listened to Wild Honey by Tiamat, there are some legit moments on that disc where you feel, if you are in the correct mindset. I'm not saying you do drugs. I'm saying if you are calm, if you are cool, you're just enjoying it, taking in the music, have a good set of headphones, you're kind of just zoning out and melting into the music, it sounds like you're floating and feels like you're floating. It's amazing. It is a very good album, and I enjoy it quite a bit. Anybody who wants to recommend a song, by the way, request a song, should I say, and wants to apply some of their donation to one of the 4 ideas to your left, one of the 4 options to your left for the bid war, you can do so using PayPal at the link that is below my body, or on Super Chat, which is right here on good old YouTube. As a reminder, it is $1 a minute. Oh, legal drugs are the worst. Legal drugs are the ones that'll kill you. The illegal ones are the ones that will kill you instantly, or you'll be hooked on them for years. And then they'll kill you. I also will not answer the question, hey, do you do drugs? No comment. Which I know many people interpolate as, yes. But, no. Our melancholy hour has come and gone. That is Cosmic Truth by Hex Vessel. All 3 of these prior tracks have been recommended and requested, funded so beautifully by Maru, who as always has blessed us with terrific variety and a very somber attitude and mood. And yes, I do believe that the coming of autumn, which begins this Monday, is an excellent reason for such a somber feel. I am not an autumn person. So, we get into Current 93. We're going to start off Jeffrey's foursome of tracks with She Took Us to the Places Where the Sun Sets by Current 93. We will be starting that immediately. Hello. It's awfully quiet. Hey, that's what it is. Sultanus HN coming in with $9.99. Wants to hear Cyclone Temple's Born to Lose. Oh my god, whenever this happens. Born to Lose, Shotgun Messiah, Nobody's Home. 1. What's CKN? Just got done with my 1-day PT drill. Happy to catch this on the way home. Hey, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Giren. I remember your name. Do we have some lag? Let's scope that out. Oh yeah. We have a very inconsistent frame rate going. I'm going to pause that real quick. Hold on. We're going to try and take care of this. We're going to take care of this. Oh yeah, there's a big delay. That's a big delay trying to get some KBS working there. Blech. Okay, time to resume. Thank you for the $9.99 heading toward number 1. What just happened? Okie dokie, Smokey. I see a dark color, which means there's a big boy coming. $25 from Evil Toad says Lee Abraham, the season's turn. Degorn, oh my. Holy shiitake mushrooms. 25. Heading toward number 3. Thank you, Evil Toad. Thank you, Zoltanus. Oh my. Holy hot damn, brother. There'd be some craziness going on right now. There'd be some craziness happening. Thank you to Evil Toad. Lee Abraham, the season's turn 25, which means that's going to be a long song. That's going to be a big boy. Big meaty boy. This is Current 93. The track is She Took Us to the Places Where the Sun Sets. I will repost in chat for you, as I do not think that it's scrabbled. Will I be going out of my way to Universal Scrabble this? I'll probably forget. Because directly after the stream I will be hustling out the door. This is... spooky is a good word. This would be excellent for a haunted house. Do it right now? No. I'm already having difficulty with frame rate. I need to add another tab. I can look through my donations, that's the thing. That's what I'll do. I can look through all of it. That was... once you got used to that, it became pretty cool. I gotta say. But whenever that first broke in, holy crap, that was surprising. We have Cossacks R by Scott Walker coming up next. It's Scott Walker, not Scott McCumber. What's odd is that Jeffrey wrote that this is a modern post-punk jam, but yet the advertisement that we got prior to this, the 6 seconds that you didn't hear, was for Disney. Fun. Isn't that fun? I can use my phone. Like I said, I'll worry about that a little bit later on. I will look back through my donations to see which one scrabbled and which one did not. I haven't used my phone for anything yet. Hell, I'm the cheap ass that still hasn't paid for the ability to have more than 20 Scrabbles a day on Universal Scrabbler, dude. My cheap ass is still like, you know what, do I really need that? Am I going to be using this for longer than a week? Is this just a friendly, fun thing that I'm doing for a little while, or is it going to last forever? Folks have arrived, which means very shortly I will take a short break. I'm going to take a short break to say hello, see what's going on, because that is just the nice and fair thing to do. It means we have to stop talking about all this sex stuff. What's up? You're not dashing tonight, right? You're not dashing tonight, right? See you later, Sprat. Come stalk you on Instagram? I already am. I stalk you with pictures of cats. Actually, that's pretty effective. Think about that. The best stalker lures you with the things you love. What would you consider my favorite songs of all time? That's the thing. That's the thing. The reason why this is a favorite songs stream as opposed to a favorite song stream is because I don't think anybody has just one. I probably have about 5 Alice in Chains songs that I consider up there. Opeth has a billion. Porcupine Tree, Model of the Well, Dream Theater, some stuff from Redemption, Jerry Rafferty. One of these things, by the way, is not like the other, obviously. Wouldn't It Be Good by Nick Kershaw? I mean, there's just so many different options. I'm not the type that can only have one of anything. So any list video, I am always hella nervous about posting. And whenever I'm assembling the list, God, I'm like beating my own head against the wall. Because I look at the list and I'm like, is that really true? Do I really think that that's better than this? And then I think about crossing it up, and then I look at it again, I'm like, no, that's wrong. There's a whole process behind this. Like these list videos, for them being, I'm glad that y'all like them. That's all I'm going to say, because they're hard for me. That's a rough one for me. Silent Scream with Rise and Fall by Zoltanius HN in the building, heading toward number 1. Y'all hearing a kitty cat meow because y'all see a kitty cat behind me. That's Mittens. Mittens is in the house. He's in the building. And number 1 is $107 away from being guaranteed. From being a guaranteed make. That is crazy. You thought the cat was a poster until it moved? Oh God. That had to be horrifying. You had to be like, what the hell is happening? I'm gonna move right along. We have Grave Babies with Death March coming next. But yes, if you want to have some of your favorite songs played, it is $1 per minute. You can donate via Super Chat or with the link that you see below on PayPal. It is getting very claustrophobic in this room. Oh my, that is extremely loud. I'm going to turn that down just a little bit. Good God. It is getting very claustrophobic in here. No, keep it. No. No. We're not going to have clipping. Y'all wonder about echoes and all this other stuff. Oh. Good way to really cause that to happen. Surprisingly, I didn't lower it that much. Svetlana leaves, and there's like now 5 cats in this room. And if you're wondering why it looks like I'm in an earthquake, it's because, like I said, it's gotten kind of claustrophobic in here. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, taking a break soon. Rather hear clipping than an AC? Shouldn't be hearing any AC, considering I can't even hear the AC. And I also can't feel the AC. It's warm in here. You can tell they're modern post-punk considering you just look at this cover and you're just like, huh? Reminds me a little bit of Mod's Carve the Pig. Thought Industry album. Not musically, just the name. They're not for everyone. Imagine if that was something you said about something that actually was for everybody and on everybody. Like Toenails, they're not for everybody. You know, some people really just don't understand earwax. They just don't get it. We have the glory disappears by summoning to finish this off. And I think that this will be the moment, since this is about 8 minutes in length, this will be the moment where I will step out for just a couple of moments. Hopefully, in my absence, things will become a little less claustrophobic. I can act a bit like a Peter... What is that, Peter Piper? Wait, no, he's the one that picked the peck of pickled peppers. Well, whatever. Hopefully I can be a herald that will declaustrophobicize the room. And before y'all think that's not a word, I know. Shut it. But I will be back shortly. Enjoy The Glory Disappears by summoning in my short absence. Thank you. Oh yes, I do need to turn that up. I almost forgot. Lord Blanky. Lord Blanky just needs to come be my sound designer. Be back. Come on. Daisy, come on. You don't care. You just want to be a little kitty earthquake, don't you? Oh no, I don't want kitty earthquake.
likes
How was he mostly with his
calories.
Oh no!
Hours,
Guinea Carnival is gone.
points, and scores.
What the hell is this? Oh no, it's an advertisement.
Friends,
Good God.
followers.
Skip them. Not like I get the ad revenue at all for this. As the glory disappears from summoning, not much really to say, not much that was going on, so in all, kind of a meh thing. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are now transitioning to Waterblank's pair of requests that we have up next. I don't know why I ended up back over there. Someone must have talked on something. I don't know. Anyhow, up next, we have some TID. Oh God! We have my phone falling. That's always fun. TID in the house. With some Manhattan's good dinner. Whenever I look at good dinner, I always think, oh, look, good dinner. I'm a dick. I don't care. We're going raw, boys. Going raw, boys and girls. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we will be running live until 7 o'clock. At that point, we will be, or I will be departing. So, if there are any requests that are unfulfilled at that point, they will unfortunately not be played until our next stream, which will be coming to you during the first half of next week. My hope would be for Tuesday. Once again, we're going to try to run a 3-day stream week for this forthcoming week. My aim would be for Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. But we will see. We may once again do a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday type deal. Haken is a very good band. Haken is very, very good. Or some people call them Haken. I like Haken. I even sound like ha. But I think about the new verified system on YouTube coming. I have not looked into anything about what's upcoming for YouTube. So if you would be so kind as to explain to me what that entails, please do so. I would appreciate it. That way I can rant appropriately, because I'm sure it is not good. I'm sure it is piss poor. I still really like Haken. I like Haken. Sounds like like they just spit out great music. That's how it goes. Or you spit from a mountain, or you spit on a vector. I will probably not talk about Monolord. I am hoping to talk about The Agonist and perhaps Cult of Luna. There's another album that I picked up this week, and I'm failing to remember what it is. Damned. That stinks. Heinekine. Oh, don't worry, I won't say anything. It's Gene Simmons' Mean Bean Machine. The verified system is arbitrarily based on who YouTube thinks is recognizable, that being mainstream figures and sources that will push non-verified sources down like the current algorithm. Oh! So basically it means that it's going to be like the current system, only a little bit worse if you are not a big boy that has a little check mark by your name. That's... wow. What a great job, guys. Bang up job, YouTube. Bunch of retards. You wonder why people are leaving. You wonder why I'm excited to actually get out of here. You know. And you know the funny thing is, what's worse about it is that this is a direct... This directly creates artificial hatred between fan bases and you know, content creators, because they think that their content creator is leaving them or stopping simply because they're not making enough money. That's part of it, yes, because, you know, there's a system that's been promised that is not happening. But I hate to say this, don't blame your content creator for stuff going down, for them leaving, or for them deciding that they need to do something else, for their time being split toward other things as opposed to just being on the YouTube front. I know a ton of y'all, I know a ton of you would love for me to stay, and I have various reasons outside of YouTube for needing to go. But if it was purely just because of YouTube alone, that would be plenty. Because it is not the same website, it is not the same host, it is not the same quote-unquote employer that it once was. And Susan and the folks there should be ashamed of themselves. I really don't care if it's a business move. I will call people straight out. Susan and the folks at YouTube, you should be ashamed of yourselves. Same way that I would call out my landlord. He should be ashamed of himself. He should be damned ashamed of himself. Anyhow, Frank Bojan Group with Kronenberg Park coming with you next, from all the way from 1985. The description of this, I really like it. Just said, okay, I know I said the St. Jude's a great charity, but man, are these commercials getting old. Again, one of the big problems of YouTube is that you get the same ads over and over and over and over again. And I probably see that St. Jude ad quite a bit because, of course, I've mentioned charity a good bit. Carpathian Summit, I have not as of yet, and I've not listened to Orphans Yet Evil Toads, so I cannot tell you. Twitch is a great platform that I would hope to scoot over onto if I do some, if I do some streaming after the fact. Migrating the audience will be one thing, but I will say, meh. That's going to be the part that kind of stinks. But then again, it'll probably just be the same folks that are in the streams constantly anyway. To say that YouTube stunk whenever Google took over is kind of erroneous. Whenever the Google takeover first happened, it was the first way in which content creators were able to get paid for their hard work. And at one point, Google was talking about how they were teetering on the edge of being not profitable. And the initial problem that they ran into, and something that, of course, if a typical user would have done this, would have led to them being banned. But since this was Vimeo, and it was causing them to, get a lot of views and exposure because of music, having big artists on there, they did not. But there were a lot of artificially manufactured views that were coming in that caused a lot of ads to be played and that revenue not to be shared to YouTube, but then Google had to pay it out. It was a whole big controversy back in 2013, 2012, back then. And of course, all of those Vimeo channels are still there. All those Vimeo channels are still there for every single artist because, of course, they bring in tons of revenue because you gots to have Justin Bieber and Rihanna. You gots to have those. Those are the ones that are seeing the millions or even billions of views. It's ridiculous. Oh, a lot of bands have Vimeo. All Vimeo is a platform that allows bands to, have their own channel type thing, and it's handled not by the band themselves, it's handled by outsiders for YouTube's benefit. One thing I'm surprised about Shaped by Fire is the low view count. I really am. For as big as I'm being told that album is, sure, some folks are probably pissed about my review of it. But I figured there would be more folks going over to that and yelling at me as opposed to, nobody giving a crap. What did you think about that? Was that something that was wrong on my behalf? Did I do the wrong thing? Or is that something that you felt was fair and A-okay? Be honest. Because every single time I tried to just do that video regularly, something felt wrong. Born to Lose by Cyclone Temple coming up. This is from the album I Hate, Therefore I Am. Let's check her out. Let's play it. Play it loud, play it proud. Yeah, for the As I Lay Dying video, you're correct. Hi, Darkened Sun. I am doing okay. It's been kind of a day. Tic Tac Fowl says this is a nice request. I agree. Cyclone Temple, man. I haven't listened to these guys in an age. I'm talking a long ass time. You really like the video? I felt like it was an opportunity to talk about something that's very important. But my feelings about the album are 100% legitimate. You know, sometimes I feel like fans of certain genres do wear some rose-tinted glasses, and I myself am guilty of it, considering I am a very big fan of progressive music. So whenever I listen to prog metal or prog rock, I tend to get pretty giddy about stuff that other people probably listen to and just hear the same thing. They just hear, you know, prog wankering or whatever the hell they call it, you know? I think we all are a little bit guilty of that rose-tinted glass, no matter what it is that we talk about. If you take a look at Rolling Stone magazine, theirs isn't in the form of rose-colored glasses. Theirs is in the form of getting money directly from labels to, you know, offer that good review for that brand new pop record that sounds like hot trash. But I was not really... It is an album that has moments on it, but once again, one thing that for me probably that sort of gives me a little bit of distance and separation is that the last time that I felt like I was truly connected with As I Lay Dying and dug them really deeply as a band was probably 2004, 2005. It's been a long time. They were the one band from the metalcore movement that I sort of felt the most distant from during the latter part of their first part of their career. That Welvet War album was pretty decent, I have to say, though. The first one, I know I reviewed the first one. I'll play Freebird. Stream's been going for an hour and 46 minutes. We'll be running until 7 p.m. Eastern Time, so about another hour and a half. So we do have some time. We right now are looking at 3 requests that are in the queue currently. But at 7 o'clock, or right around there, I do have to bolt, so that is something to keep in mind. I liked the singing. There are no new members that I'm aware of, at least. Nothing that I saw showcased that there was new membership on the vocal front. I did enjoy the juxtaposition between the cleans and the growls on the album, though I did feel that based off of what had happened over the course of the past 6 years, it did lack a little bit of intimacy. I really was expecting a song where Tim was going to get exceptionally personal and the music was going to reflect it. Instead, they stuck with a very aggressive tint, and I can appreciate that. I really can. I don't necessarily call it a missed opportunity. They get to do what they want. That's the benefit of being in a band. You get to do what you want. If you follow what the critics say, you know, little dopey dumbasses like me, you're just going to be, you know, constantly chasing a dream that never becomes reality. Martyr dropping the €4 wants to hear some Appalanta. Let's hear a happy Tristan. Alright, thank you very much. That's heading toward number 1. We'll have to get the old calculatrice out and do some conversion for that one. Not a problem. That's going to drop us to a 441. Once again, the only reason why I would be willing to really forgive and forget is everything that I've read about Tim and his quest for forgiveness from other members of the band, those that were closest to him. It still is not a forgiveness for what he did. Like, I highly doubt that he's going to walk up to his ex-wife and be able to get a forgiveness out of her instantaneously, unless, I don't know, she's really, really good at forgiveness, That's all I can really say about that. I was happy to hear that effort was being made. Brad Harris coming in with a compare request. We have Trivium with Demon and Opeth with Demon of the Fall. Which is the better song with Demon in the title? Brad asks. Whenever we get there, we will have to explore this concept. Brad, where's that $10 heading? 1, 2, 3, or 4. Thank you very much. We're going to have to see if we're going to get to everything. Because we do have a big boy coming. We do have a big $25 request coming up after Shotgun Messiah's Nobody's Home. I personally, without even hearing the tracks again, I'm going to be exceptionally partial toward Demon of the Fall, considering it's one of my favorite Opeth songs of all time. By the way, number 1 has crossed the $500 threshold, which means that it is less than $100 away from being met and being a guaranteed video. The question, though, then becomes, and then what do you guys go after? And once again, remember everybody, whenever we get to the last couple streams of a bid war, especially the last one, oh boy, that's whenever things get crazy. Here's Nobody's Home, a Shotgun Messiah. Mara, you might have to do it individually if you're having those difficulties. I've noticed that some folks have had some problems with Super Chat over the course of the past week or so. I don't know if that is a YouTube thing, if it's like some sort of spam protection, or I don't even know. I can't tell heads from tails with YouTube anymore. It seems like if you are a little shrimp in the big old ocean, your shit always has problems. You always have difficulty. It's like you're eternally paying your dues. And I don't understand that because, or maybe it's just something that I don't see as often, because I've been in chats of other YouTube streamers and theirs seem to flow just naturally and easily. You know what I'm saying? But do remember, if we get into a situation where we get to 7 o'clock and some requests have not been played yet, we will have to play them within our next stream, because I will have to go. I can probably push it till about 10 after 7, 7:15 at the absolute latest. But then I will have to skedaddle. Hey, Pen Pencil, thank you very much. I appreciate that. 97 years is a long time to be on this earth. The man, my great uncle, literally outlived all of his friends and family. Well, not all of his family, obviously, but he outlived his wife, he outlived his friends. His son, I didn't realize, was 58 years old, is 58 years old, he's not dead. I thought he was much younger than that for some reason. I mean, I guess it's always really nice when you're a child and you don't lose your parents until very deep very deep into your life. Like, for example, my mother lost her mom whenever she was 61 years old. And her mother was a woman of only like 81 or 82. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. As I just said, if we run out of time, any requests that have not been fulfilled will be played on... I'm just going to go ahead and say it's going to be on Tuesday. Because Mondays have always been historically bad for us. For some reason, YouTube hates Mondays. Apparently, YouTube is Garfield. The cat, that is. So, any unfulfilled requests will start off the stream on Tuesday if I see you in chat. Because remember, I do not play your request unless I see you in chat. That way you can hear the request that you put your hard-earned money toward. That is something that I absolutely love to do. Because it's fair. Super chat might. I don't know. I know that there's a lot of things out there that help with translation. And if it's in your home country, then yeah, it definitely understands. Guacamole, what's going on, my friend? How you doing? How you doing? You're 24 and you have both sets of your grandparents. I never had a full set of grandparents throughout the entirety of my life. On my dad's side, my grandfather died a year before I was born, and on my mom's side, there was a divorce that actually caused me to never claim that man as my grandfather, because for one, I met him only once. He's a raging douche nozzle. Was a raging douche nozzle. Basically, my mother's upbringing was hell because of him. So even if I would have had him in my life on a consistent basis, would not have claimed his ass. Probably would have knocked his old ass out. Requesting an album, Mike. Okay. That sounds just fine to me, man. Thank you. My grandmother on my dad's side passed in 2005. On my mother's side, she passed in 2011. She was the only of my grandparents that would have potentially known anything about coverkillernation, and at that point, she passed a couple of months after the Eludivinium Insanus review came out, and the channel started to grow and quote-unquote blow up a little bit. But I know that Evil Toad is in here, and I know that he's probably excited for this. But Lee Abraham, The Season's Turn, a big boy request, $25 request, which means this is 24 minutes, 47 seconds long. This should be a treat. I don't believe I'm aware of this. I don't believe I know this. I want to make sure this scrobbles, so we're going to check this one first. Are you going to work? You are. I love it when a plan comes together. So this will take us to the 6 o'clock hour. And then forthcoming afterward, we will have 1, 2, 4 songs after this. So if I were to be a predictive man, if I were to be a game chicken, so to speak, we probably would have time for perhaps 2 or 3 further requests. However, I might be pushing it with that. Of course, if you want to get something in that, and you know that you're going to be here on Tuesday for it to be played, feel free. That's why the bid war is here. And hell, even if you want to just donate for the bid war as opposed to you want a song to be requested, that is 100% your decision. We have 2 ways to do that, Super Chat or PayPal. But this is Lee Abraham with The Season's Turn. Here we are. There that is. How's it going, man? Welcome, welcome to Joseph, to J. Cole. That's right, I called you J. Cole. I apologize if that's an insult. Did I just say Lee Abraham? I sure as hell did. This is The Season's Turn by Lee Abraham. Here's the real question. Which song is better? A Change of Seasons by Dream Theater or this song here? Cheers, everybody. Wait, it's prog rock and I haven't heard of it? I'm slipping in my old age. We are very close to $600. Is my grandpa still alive? Nope. I do not have a single living grandparent. And if I'm being 100% with you, my great uncle who passed, and we just put the rest earlier this week, is the last of that entire generation on my, of my family. The last great uncle or great aunt. Because his wife passed in 2016. In fact, it was the day before David Bowie passed. It was the day after Alan Rickman passed. It was during that whole cycle. And that's on my dad's side of the family. He and my grandmother had one other brother who had passed earlier this decade. 2013, I believe, was that year. On my mother's side, my grandmother had just a boatload of sisters, all of which have since passed. And that has been scattered about the past decade and a half. My mother had two brothers, and the key word there is had, because both of them preceded her to the great beyond. My Uncle John was actually the one that started to spark the death within the deaths within my family. That was back in 2001. 2002. My apologies. 2002. I had to think about that for a second because my cousin passed in 2003. And then her other brother, my Uncle Mike, also died in 2013 of suicide. Oh man, Vaporwave, they are a part of the 1180. They are a part of the group of albums that I'm seeking. I've actually not listened to much of them, but I really want to. So, it's crazy to see that name, because oh boy, I need to tell you which albums are even on the 1180, or really just show you what the 1180 is, period. Hold on, I'm just going to link that. It's not affectionately called this. It's called the Century Media Bible Album Purchase List. But there is what I have affectionately termed as the 1180. What that is that in 2004-2005, my best friend and I got a catalog from Century Media Records that had every album that they had available in their distribution service, because back then they were a distro the same way that they were a record label. I patiently went through the entire book, which this was like a JCPenney catalog, alright? If you're familiar with JCPenney catalogs, they're freaking thick, they're huge. This one's not as thick as that, but it's about the same idea. It's like a heavy metal JCPenney catalog. I went through that catalog page by page and wrote down every album that I wanted. My orders easily eclipsed $10,000. And overall, were more than, it was 1,180 items between the 2 years. And the reason why it wasn't more was because there would be some albums that I would have on both lists, because I hadn't yet acquired them. I hadn't yet gotten them. I didn't get very many, in fact, for many, many years, because a lot of the stuff is impossible to find over here, you have to go online, and I refuse to go online. That list, by the way, needs updated for some things that I have acquired. But at any rate, it is a crazy, crazy thing. I recently tried to contact Century Media to see if they had any copies of those catalogs remaining, and I have never received a reply, because I would love to have those for posterity purposes, and even have other catalogs, from other years prior or years after, for as long as they did it, which I don't think that lasted longer than, say, the latter 2000s. I would love to have those catalogs, look through them, and add to the 1180. Would I love to run a record store? You bet your ass I would. But I'll tell you what would be very, very hard to do in this day and age is run a record store. What I would love to do, or what would be the best situation, would be if there was a big old conglomeration of heavy metal fans right by my record store. Because guess what that means? That means that that store is guaranteed to stay in business, especially if y'all buy physical. I'd like to have records and I'd love to have CDs. I'd like to have cassettes there. The way that it stands right now, I would need a larger piece of land for the dream that I would have, which would be all-encompassing. I know folks that are very good with anime, that are very good with comics. Bring them on board, do something like that alongside of it. I know a couple of folks that are really big into collectible card games. Have those available there. I would love to have a lot of things. I would want that to be just a major hub for music and geek culture, nerd culture. Breast cancer and alcoholism, oh man, and heart. Ugh. Mario, I have a feeling that considering you have such a kind heart and aren't a huge alcoholic, you may buck the trend. But I'll tell you, my uncle, my great uncle who just passed, may, like I said, may you rest in peace. I gotta tell you, he said that 97's too old. Don't live to be 97. If 97 becomes the new norm, if that becomes the new life expectancy, then live to 97. I don't foresee that happening, but the man made a very good point. It's too damn old. And you don't smoke. You're doing a good thing. You are doing something that I am not doing. Well, you are not doing something that I am doing. You know what I mean. Do I greatly dislike Stone Sour? No. I got really annoyed by Through Glass whenever it was big on the radio. A billion years ago. What was that, 2006? 2005? It was 2006, yeah. I don't know how I remember all these. I remember all this crap because of, things that were going on in my life around it. Put Blazer Full, what's going on? How you doing? You've entered into the favorite song stream. We're going to be running for about another hour 12. Hour and 12 minutes, should I say. Currently listening to The Season's Turn by Lee Abraham. We have a bid war going on to your left. If you decide to donate, you can apply your funds to one of those 4 videos that could potentially be made in December, right before the channel takes its final bow. Bother did get annoying. You are very, very true. Yeah, Hydroglide was very good. The House of Golden Bones cycle was also decent. Oh, what time is it here? It is currently 5:48 p.m. So we will be going on for another hour and 12 minutes. Adjust for your local listings. And by the way, this song is just beautiful. Can I just toss that out there? This is divine. Praise Evil Toad for exposing us to this loveliness. BT Dubs, I wondered why Jeffrey was saying 1 in chat, but now I know, because he has dropped another donation. He is showing us how to do it. I did give it a 17 out of 30. That's very true. Would put it below House of Golden Bones 100%. But to be fair, their first album, I was like, toward. You need to read this comment here. Favorite bands with each letter of the alphabet? Who are you asking? U? The letter U? Oh gosh. Over. Second and final request for the night. This one's sincerely one of my favorite recent discoveries. 70s Romanian prog rock masters Phoenix. Not the new, what would they call that? Dance pop? There's another band called Phoenix. The whole record is a must listen, but 13 minutes will have to do. Don't worry about pronouncing the song name. We have Delfinul, Dulce Dolful Nostu, Usadira, Badarudi, and Stima Kasai. I bastardized it, I am sure. I wonder if that's all one song. I guess we'll find out. I'll give 6 Feet Under a 0.6.6. No, I could never ever give a band a 0 and be legitimate about it. And this was something that was true way back in the day whenever I was just reviewing albums between myself and my best friend. That band is signed. They have a fan base. Like, people must like them, quote unquote. You know? So, like, for that reason, like, there's no zeros. I'm pretty sure I spotted the band, like, 40 points on a... No, it wasn't 40. It was way less than that. No, it was, because I did it on, like, a grading scale, where it was, like, 90 to 100 was an A, 80 to 90 was a B, you know, that old scale. So I think I spotted them like 40 points just because, you know, they're signed and I'm not. Catharsis is 3 out of 30. I think it is the worst rating I've ever given. Though I'd have to remember the rankings for some of the videos from 2011. Because I don't... Did I give A Lud Divinum Insanus even a score? Or Dedicated to Chaos, Frequency Unknown, you know, some of those, did I even give a score? Or was I just so focused on the rant? Or was that before I even gave a score? Oh, man. The history. The freaking history, dude. Well, see, that's the thing. You know, if I order a pizza, J. Costa, and they give me a salad, or they give me, like, a pear, then yeah, I could rate it a 0 because they didn't even give me a pizza. If they give me a... Listen, I tell you, if you ever want to be an asshole and you don't want your job anymore, look back in the 1980s. Find a toy that was sponsored by the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was a pizza shooter. So it was like a little... it was the Turtle Van, and they had a cannon that shot little plastic pizzas. Get that, and what you do is, if somebody that you just absolutely hate orders a pizza, you get about like 200 of those, and you arrange them in a big gigantic circle, and you deliver it to them. There you go. This is The Season's Turn by Lee Abraham. Does pineapple go on pizza? If you want it to, it sure does. Would I eat pineapple on pizza? Yes, I would. But I really like pineapple. See, that's the thing. I really like pineapple, and I really like pizza. So combining those two things just seems natural. It really does. It just seems natural. I don't know what the big deal is. Because they've done Hawaiian pizzas for a long time. And those have always been super good. Those have always been super duper good. See, whenever I go over to my folks' place, I go there every weekend because my father and I watch Steeler football and NASCAR. I know, they're making a left turn, they're making a left turn, they're making a left turn. Shut up, I like it. I like spending time with my dad. It's very, you know, you don't know how much time that you're going to get, and our relationship is good. You know, if you got a dad and he's a dickhead, you know, beat your mom, sent you to military school, you know, made you wear, you know, a dress that says I'm a big old fairy on it, or whatever the hell he did to embarrass you or make you hate him. I mean, I get it. I get why you don't want to go see your dad. I like going to see my dad. I like hanging out with my dad because I'm an adult now. So now it's like we're on even level. Only I'm the master because I'm the young asshole and he's the old asshole. But anyway, we usually order pizza all the time, and it's always just a cheese pizza. He's not someone that likes a lot of variety on a pizza. Unlike myself, who whenever I order a pizza over here, it's got to have 3 toppings at least, and most of them are veggie or fruit based. The only time that it would be meat based would be if it was ham. Like, I don't even do pepperoni on pizza, really. What score did I give the Vengeance Falls? I don't even remember. And I think whenever I was outside today, a spider bit me. That's awesome. Oh well, whatever. Okay, see, I don't do hot sauce on pizza. I don't do hot sauce unless they're on, like, wings, for the most part. Like, I think the fair way to present it is I don't arbitrarily add hot sauce to anything. But if hot sauce is already on a product, I will eat it. Would I like to find my other parents? No. If I'm being 100% honest, no. I would like to know their medical history, simply to know what I truly should be looking out for. But whenever it comes to, like, getting to know them, I mean, that would sort of be like the nice thing to do, but I could care less, really. They made a decision that was best for them, and honestly best for me too, you know what I mean? Like, I have respect for them without even knowing them, because as the story goes, they were tremendously young. Like, this was an early high school conception, and an accidental one. They didn't abort me, so I'm not a statistic. Thank you very much, you two. And they made the decision to adopt, and adopted me to terrific parents. 2 folks that couldn't have kids, and this was their only option, and they did a hell of a job. Would I, if I ever met them, would I thank them profusely for that? Hell yeah, I would. I would be very kind, and I would be very grateful. But do I feel that it is necessary? No, I don't. Alright, who's mentioning Stromboli? Y'all making me hungry. Y'all making me sincerely hungry. I'm going to eat like a goddamn pig later on tonight after I leave. After the stream ends. I'm going to be a piggy snort. Again, don't take that as disrespect to the folks that, conceived me, literally. But you see so many stories about parents that adopted their kids out and had buyer's remorse, that all of a sudden want to be a mom and want to be a dad. I know these folks aren't trying to do that because they've not. They haven't tried. Whenever the separation happened, that was that, I don't even know if those two are still together. I know nothing about it. It's whatever. They say that if you grow with a bond with your mom in the womb, and so if, you just see somebody, you would just know. Never had that experience. They might not even be in the area. Who knows? New Bruce Siller? Probably not. Probably not. I'm kind of operating on a bit of a hit list mentality where there will be certain things that are guaranteed reviews that I want to make for the channel. If I get the opportunity to listen to it, that'd be cool, and it would be qualifiable for the end of the year lists. But I'm operating very much on a hit list assumption because I do have other videos to attend to prior to the channel going away. Yeah, see, there's the thing, OA, like, this was a situation where they were so young that they knew, or at least felt, that there was no way that they were going to be able to give a child a good life. Because they were both like 14. They were very, very young. And the thing that saddens me the most is that as I've grown, as I've grown up, I have seen a number of young parents in this area. And these are kids that are just, they're going to get zero opportunity. Either that or their opportunities are going to disappear because their upbringing is going to cause them to really walk down the wrong path. So you just, I feel for them. I do. I really do. We do have a 24-hour stream that is going to happen at some point. Let's get through the bid war first and then perhaps start planning for that. So I'm also going to be planning a move very soon, I think, if all things go well. Might be a nice way to break in a new place. I do know that the final stream, after the channel does close, that is going to be a ride. And in many ways, I am both looking forward to it and dreading it. Will I survive the 24-hour stream? Probably not. Maybe not. Probably just die. I'll get the 24 hours. It'll be like one of those horror movies. Like you finally get the 24 hours, you survive, and then you just die anyway. You know, bad ending. Oh, sad song requests will probably just happen naturally. I remember last year there was one dude that was like flat out trying his best to make me cry. Being a child with very young parents makes you destined to fail in life. I wouldn't go that far, but it definitely isn't helpful. What it does cause is your relationship with your actual mother may not be the same as the relationship you have with your grandparents, because chances are your mother or your father, whomever it is that you stay with, if they're young, will have other responsibilities that they'll have to attend to if they're going to have any sort of life to be able to take care of you. Or you may just end up being with your grandparents the whole time. And imagine that. Imagine you've already had kids, and then all of a sudden, you know, you're thinking, damn, I'm like 2 years away from this little shit going to college and having their own life and not having them. You know, and then all of a sudden, bam, you're right in the thick again. It's like signing up for 18 more years. And the question is that all that bad? Is that all that bad? We have Rise and Fall by Silent Scream. And remember, it isn't even something that's just based off of... It isn't even something that's just based off of your parents not being there. These are all situations that I'm talking about where the parents are probably still present in the child's life. In fact, might still be in the same household. You know what I mean? But you may have a better relationship with that other relative that is acting more so like a true, like, adult parental figure, considering your actual mom or actual dad has not yet reached adulthood, has not reached peak maturity. Hell, peak maturity, or like actual maturity, is said to not begin until you're 25 years old anyway. Wait, someone would be requesting a Smith song that isn't How Soon Is Now? Get out of here. Great song, by the way. Your mom is parted with GNR? Oh boy. I hope she didn't get any of Axel's douchiness on her. That is pretty cool. Was she a hair metal, a big hair metal fan, a big, not like a groupie, but like a super fan? This is a huge change of pace, absolutely. Damn. It's a silent scream with rise and fall. I mean, you go from like that silent ambiance to this song or this album cover that has a dude that has no skin holding a brain. This lovely, lovely thrash. God. That is pretty cool that you got the party with GNR. Oh, so she was a groupie, alright. I wasn't too confident about using that term because that's not always seen as a term of endearment. Especially in that age with female groupies, it's always basically assumed to just be, you know, it's always assumed that they were just trying to sleep with, you know, the bands. Can I drop the name of the song? I will drop it in chat, in fact. This is Silent Scream with Rise and Fall. I'm going to pop it in chat for you. Shaboing. Oh! Hot damn. Damn, that would be... Yeah, that would stop me. That would stop me in my tracks, absolutely. Probably best that you don't know J. Cole. Probably best that she talked about her friends and not herself, you know? Could potentially have some hair metal royalty in you. You never know. Do you think deathcore would be better if they had more guitar solos? I think that's just got to be a band's decision. Are you saying like guitar solos against, you know, versus breakdowns? Because if you do that, then you don't really have, you know, one of the principal components of deathcore is gone. You know, if you remove breakdowns from deathcore, you pretty much just have death metal. You think you're old enough for that bloodline? Well. Times were rough, you know. That was after the hair metal craze died, you know. Nobody wants to really be lonely, you know. No, not all the breakdowns are bad. But that's the thing. If you remove them from the music, it would be basically just death metal. You know, you would transform the genre a good bit, considering that is a key aspect. I think it would be interesting to see, and we have seen this a little bit, but not as often. It'd be cool to see a deathcore band employ both some soaring solos and some breakdowns, but again, like, any band that kind of goes against the formula just doesn't get the coverage. You could be all sorts of messed up. I don't know, if you're eternally chill, then I'd say that's a good thing. You know? I always kind of latched onto the characters that were super relaxed in film and TV and stuff like that. Like, any character that was high-strung gave me a freaking stroke, man. I enjoy those that would just kind of go in with the flow. Which is kind of amazing, because I myself have, you know, high anxiety and, you know, low to medium depression. So, probably gravitate towards those just because I'm thinking, oh, finally somebody that doesn't make me want to freaking hang myself with the way they're acting. Imagine what would happen if you took a band such as Silent Scream, essentially a death thrash band, and transformed them into a deathcore band. So instead of that soaring solo that you just heard, you would get like maybe, we'll say a quarter of it, and then we'll get that slow chunk, 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 chunk. My biggest no-no whenever it comes to metal music videos, taking yourself too seriously. And back in the day, there were a lot of bands that were really, really guilty of taking themselves way too seriously. Like, you can present imagery and present yourselves as, you know, this conquering force or whatever. That's fine. There's a good chance you're not taking yourself seriously. But if all you're doing is going in front of the camera and being like, then yo, back the fuck off, dude. It's annoying. Apolanta with Pompeii Toystan. This was requested from Maru, which we are very thankful for. Blah. Ah. What a day. Again, as you take a look to your left, we are less than $100 away from choice number 1 in the bid war becoming a guaranteed video. Whenever that happens, that will be locked. You will not be able to put anything else toward number 1. You'll be forced to choose between 2, 3, and 4. What a sad day that'll be for some of you. Take a look at the standings currently. Number 1 is far and away destroying it, $519.94. It is $80.06 away from being funded. Really, if someone just slapped $80, I'd probably just call it funded and call it a day. Second place is number 3, top 25 albums of the 2010s at $160.50. That has a ways to go if it wants to be a guarantee. Third place is number 2, number 1 albums from 2010 to 2019 ranked at $40.25, just barely eking out the top 10 metal idiots of all time at just $38. How number 4 is also number 4 in the rankings is shocking the shit out of me. I figured that number 4 was going to be Redonkulous. I figured that was going to be the one that that was directly competing with number 1, because number 4, it's a rant, and I know y'all love rants. How old am I? Really old. 35. Oh, Ghost is just fun. People take Ghost too seriously is the problem. People take Ghost way too seriously. Most of them cannot handle the fact, or get past the fact that they think it sounds like Scooby-Doo music. I watched Scooby-Doo as a kid. For one, I don't really hear it. I don't hear the Scooby-Doo music vibe that they're calling. And even if I did, I wouldn't mind it. Just me, though. I guess I'm a weirdo. Oh well, viva la weirdos. That's not that old? Hey, you thought I was 43. Well, the receding hairline does kind of paint that image. It truly does. I think that's actually genetic. If I'm being honest, it almost has to be genetic. Because my father does not have that. So that has to be like a birth parent thing. You know? Am I sure Ghost takes themselves too seriously? No, they don't take themselves too seriously. The only time that Ghost ever took themselves way too seriously was whenever that lawsuit happened between Papa and the Nameless Ghouls. My mother's father is what determines my hairline. Well, that's way too far back. Good God. That guy could have been some baldy that was like hitting up pool games in the 1980s. Looking like the freaking runner of that pawn shop on Pawn Stars. Let me call a buddy of mine. Favorite song on the X Factor? Sign of the Cross. That's why I'm doomed to be bald. Oh no. He makes a capitalized M. That just means you're Majin Joe. Just like on Twitch, there's a streamer named Majin Phil. You don't believe I started? Oh my gosh, the way I look shows it. Oh man, it shows. Like, I look at some of those videos from like 2010 and God, I look bad. I look really bad. And the funny thing is back then, damn, your boy got some play. Your boy had himself a number of IRL fans. Okay, let's talk about Antonio Brown for 5 seconds. First NFL player in history to have his jerseys on 3 teams' clearance racks at the same time. He's a moron. Nobody should pick him up. I mean, if Colin Kaepernick can't get a job simply because he is protesting something and standing up for what he believes in, we can blackball somebody for being an absolute fucking retard. Okay? So, there we go. We have our comparison request coming up next. So these next 2 songs, I think we've already determined which one we like more. Or I already know which one I like more, but 2 tracks with Demon in the name. We have Demon of the Fall by Opeth. That will be coming up next. But currently we have Demon by Trivium, which is from Ember to Inferno. Let's listen. Which one do you like more? Yeah, I do look really young in that. Thoughts on Crybaby Crosby? Dude has 3 Stanley Cups. That's all I'll say about that. Good to have a 4th. How many is Ollie on? 1? He's gotta catch up. Ooh, Flyers fan. Yikes. Oh, damn. Hello from 1981. Was it the last year? Or am I thinking, or is it further back? Is it 76? Oh, 81 was the Islanders. I'm thinking like 76. I am old and dried up. Oh, gosh. I'm smelling like a rose that somebody gave me on my birthday deathbed. He's talking about Sidney Crosby. Ooh. Pittsburgh Penguins have a very, very rare distinction. They were the only team that, if they make it to the Stanley Cup Finals once, guaranteed, it has been guaranteed thus far that they will make it again the next year. They always end up in the Stanley Cup 2 consecutive years in a row. And the only time that they've ever lost one in those consecutive runs was in the latter part of the aughts, whenever they had their series with the Detroit Red Wings. If they've been to 9 cups, Evil Toe would be correct. It would be 2 and 7. Oh, you're saying they've won 2 out of 9. I get what he was doing. Gotcha. Both of those were in the 70s, though, correct? It was consecutive 75, 76. My hockey history's rusty, dude. I know what he's doing. He's going the baseball route. 2 out of 9. Not 2 and 9. Yeah, you're right. Back then my hairline hadn't receded yet. I had short hair in some of those initial videos. Some of those initial videos had short hair in them. They grew quick. Part of me thinks that part of that recession was because of how tight I had to pull my ponytail back for my job at the record store. They were not keen on long hair unless it was in a ponytail. Your Bears are going to the Super Bowl and winning. They are on the up. They are on the up. They looked good last year, but ran into a freaking brick wall. Phillies, Flyers, and Steelers fan. One of these things is not like the other. Not you can't get behind the Eagles. Not an Eagles fan at all. Yeah, good chance I literally did that. Yeah, actually, if I'm being real, I literally pulled my own hairline back. Well, to be fair, my father did literally like knock out a patch of hair right here with a firework back whenever I was like 10. That was fun. Demon of the Fall by Opeth. God, this is gonna be awesome. Love the song. So my pick is easy. I wish that hockey was just bigger in general. You know, out of the big four sports, it's considered number 4. There's a question mark about whether or not it's bigger than soccer. You know, the MLS. I would argue that hockey is probably still a little bit bigger unless you go to Atlanta. Atlanta, who cannot keep a hockey team, sure had their entire freaking life just encircled in support of their soccer club, drawing 60,000 fans. Like, holy shite. No hockey really in Texas. Dallas Stars. Now I feel like I'm really stupid. Dallas Stars? Is that it, really? Is it really just the Dallas Stars down there? I think it actually is. Yeah, because there's not a team in Houston. There once was. There isn't a team in San Antonio. They only have the Spurs. Yeah, that's it. Damn. It seems so weird because every other major sport has multiple clubs. You know, there's the Texas Rangers, the Houston Astros. So you have 2 baseball teams for sure. The Houston Texans, Dallas Cowboys. You know, then there's the Houston Rockets, the Dallas Mavericks, the San Antonio Spurs. I mean, shoot, man. I do hear, or I've heard rumblings that one place that is looking to potentially grab a sports franchise is Austin. I hear that Austin has grown quite a bit, and they're looking to try to break in. Which, you know what? Right on. I've heard great things about Austin, Texas. I'll tell you where I never expected a hockey team to really work, and obviously it sort of has proven itself to be somewhat true, is Phoenix. You know, you're expecting a fan base that is traditionally used to living on the surface of the sun to pay for a sport that is literally on ice. The Seattle Kraken. What the world? Do the Astros become the new Yankees? No. No. They already have failed in doing that. In order for that, if you're talking about the Yankees from like the latter 90s, they've already failed because they didn't win the series last year. They're not going back to back to back. And I don't think they're doing it this year either. I think the Yanks might have their number. If you're talking like overall as a franchise, they have great direction right now. They are in an up period, but it's not going to last. J. Cole, see you later, my man. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Hey, the Diamondbacks have actually won something. I do have to apologize to Arizona Cardinals fans, though, considering my Steelers were kind of responsible for you guys not having a Super Bowl. And I really kind of want to apologize to Kurt Warner, legit, about that, because I really liked Kurt Warner. Also, you know, I watched the Arena Football League back in the day. Iowa Barnstormers, man. You know? Pittsburgh had an arena team. Actually, Pittsburgh, here's a piece of trivia for you. Pittsburgh was the first loser of the Arena Bowl. They were the losing team. They lost, if I remember correctly, to it was either Detroit or Tampa Bay. Have the Phillies been eliminated from the playoffs yet? I kind of want to rub it into some folks because they thought, like, they hopped ship from Pittsburgh to Philly because of all their acquisitions. They have been. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Nothing personal against Philly fans. I have nothing personal. Y'all have Andrew McCutcheon. You know, that was my boy whenever he was in Pittsburgh. Happy to see your Eagles win the Super Bowl. I was happy because they beat the Patriots. Because, fuck New England. If you're from New England and a Patriots fan, I apologize. But, no, I don't. I'm a Red Sox guy. You know, I really like the Red Sox. That's sort of my AL team. Especially now that the Kansas City Royals are, like, reduced to nothingness again. I would like to see the Indians pull off a World Series win, but they blew their chance whenever they faced the Cubs in 16. They blew that opportunity. And so it's not going to happen. The Twins look good. Eagles and Steelers Super Bowl. Good Christ. Oh my gosh. Do you want the state of Pennsylvania to burn to the ground? Because I kind of want to see that happen. Let's do it. See, we talk about everything on these streams. And I hate to say it, but Opeth wins. Like, that is a track that I can listen to. I could be speaking about everything. Or anything. Hold on a second. I need to get this. I need to get this just right. Okay, so this is all one song. Here we go. So right now, this is the last track that we have in the queue. So, as of the moment, this would be the last track of the stream. Now, this is Phoenix with Delfinol Dulce Doleful Nostu Usadera Balu. This is where I'm going to struggle. Balaruli Sigma or Stima Kasai. I was doing great until those last three words. Damn me, I suck. Prog rock from Romania, which probably explains why I sucked at saying that. 13-minute long cut. Let's scope this one out. When do I think Exodus will come out with their new album? Probably next year. It is only 6:27, which means that after this track ends, it'll be about 6:40. Which means we have 20 minutes up for grabs, roughly. I'll stick around until 7, but, or right around. But yeah, we're going until 7 o'clock tonight, so we've got 20 minutes up for grabs. Who's going to step up? Who's stepping up? So far, I'm really liking this. This is pretty cool. Cool request. Oh, Vancouver. Whenever Vancouver lost that Stanley Cup and Vancouver fans rioted, I have a Canadian friend that was living not directly in that area, but like close by. And even she was like, that's an embarrassment. Ottawa's a tire fire. I remember when Ottawa was the team that always seemed to have the Pens number whenever they were first starting to make their push to head back to the Stanley Cup. Like, I think it was in the Eastern Conference Finals of 2006-2007. As I believe it was the last year that I was in college, which would be 2007, where Ottawa sort of like shocked the world. Anyway. That feels like an eternity ago. Being in school and doing all that stuff is an age ago. Man, it is sometimes very hard to believe that I have been out of college for 12 years. But it is true. Edmonton's last cup was 2007, that they were in, but they did not win that cup. That cup was won by Tampa Bay, I believe. Alright, well, you don't have to worry about the Oakland Raiders for too much longer. Soon enough, they will become the Las Vegas Raiders. It wasn't Tampa Bay. Who was it? Tampa Bay was 06. Okay, Mario, if you have to peace out, then I completely understand. Thank you for your requests and for your attention. It is always a pleasure. I appreciate it. Tampa won in 2004 against the Flames. Damn. 06 was the Hurricanes win. That was during their rise period. That's all good. I had it planned. We're going to be doing it again on Tuesday. We still have 29 minutes to go here tonight. Roughly 29. We'll see. Oh yeah, I heard about Dave Mustaine's throat cancer. Apparently he has gotten some encouraging news of the past couple of days, so treatment must be going pretty well. I didn't get a chance to watch the video. Cheers, Morrow. Cheers, Morrow. Have a good night's sleep and an excellent remainder of your weekend. Yeah, 08 they lost to the Red Wings. 09 they defeated the Red Wings, and then they lay dormant until 16 and 17. 18 was the Capitals. 19 was the St. Louis Blues, which was long deserved. Long freaking deserved, man. Mate. Where's the snowball? In winter, I guess. I forget all about that series, man. I forget all about that completely. I am happy that Crosby has gotten a couple cups. Just the same way that I am happy that there are so many people willing to forgive Tim Lambestis. I think that's pretty cool. Good on them. You folks and he are, of course, going to both face a very uphill battle against those that are not a fan of that move. After Slayer retires, they will probably be done for good. Araya wants out of the business. Evil Toad, we'll see you later, my friend. Congratulations on your good news. I'm happy to hear it. We'll see you on Tuesday, man. Don't forget, folks, we do have a very, very big stream planned for sometime in October. It's going to feature 240 minutes of music that was requested by Evil Toad. That'll be sometime in October or November. Maybe we'll do that as part of the 24-hour stream whenever we plan to do that. This year, Tampa choked. They had the best record pretty much ever, and they were out in the first round. If I'm being honest with you, I'm trying to remember who did St. Louis even beat this year? Was it LA? No, it wasn't LA. Good gosh. No, LA's in their freaking conference. I'm an idiot. Who was it that they played against? Was it the Islanders? No, it wasn't the Islanders. Someone help a brother out. I'm stupid. Ah, Boston. That's right. Okay. Yeah, that's why I got behind St. Louis so much because, you know, Boston's won cups. Boston has a long, rich history. St. Louis needs a little love. Same way when I wasn't mad that the Raptors beat Golden State for the NBA championship, man. I'm actually a fan of the dynasty for the Golden State Warriors, mostly because I'm not the hugest LeBron James mark. I'm not a very big LeBron James fan. Mainly his fan base. LeBron himself, I love to watch him play. I kind of hate to hear him talk, despite the fact that he has done a lot of great charity work and stuff, which, again, redeeming factor. I thoroughly enjoyed the dumpster fire, which was the LA Lakers this past year. I do not think we're going to see a repeat performance of that, though. Oh yeah, we are within the track. I didn't realize that you were not in chat. Yeah, we're about 8 minutes in. And by the way, freaking awesome stuff, dude. You can definitely tell the era based off of the construction and the recording quality. This is definitely 70s era. And this would fit very well in any prog fans collection. Oh yeah, Brad, I've heard of that, and it's honestly kind of funny to me. The reason why it's funny to me is that whenever I was like not even 10 years old, I was a Boyz II Men fan. And they got dethroned, you know, they were no longer #1 on the Billboard Top 200 because of the Eagles. The Eagles released a greatest hits album that same year, and it dethroned Boyz II Men, which the album was, I believe, Cooley High Harmony or 2 or something like that, one of those albums. And I didn't know who the Eagles were back then. Back whenever I was a very young man. But instead of, you know, complaining about it or laughing about it, I found out who the Eagles were and ended up liking the Eagles too. So, I think some of that is just for the reaction. Remember, we live in a very reactionary culture these days. I think some of it might actually be legit. You know, some of these folks are literally that dumb. Either that, or it's not something that they follow typically, or, you know, I'm not surprised about, or I'm surprised about this with Ozzy, just like I was surprised whenever they did Paul McCartney a couple years ago. But Taylor Swift fans not knowing who Tool is, I don't think I'm as surprised by that, because Taylor Swift fans kind of live in a bubble. You know? There are a lot of Swifties that live in a freaking bubble. And it's also part of being young. You know, that is also part of being a young individual. You haven't had the same number of years to discover all of the bands that are from your parents' generation. We have to understand that for a healthy number of Swift fans, the younger ones, we are technically defined as their parents' generation. You know, an 11-year-old Swiftie could easily be my daughter, you know, if I would have had a kid at 24. So, I thought about making a video about it, I really did. In fact, tried to shoot it, and just, every time I did it, I felt really stupid and silly. I really did. I felt like the guy that was saying, I was never like this, you shouldn't be like this, when I bet you I was like that whenever I was young. I know that I was probably, elitist towards shit that I liked, and wondering why this old stuff was still on the charts, you know. So, I just forwent saying anything about it. I think I'm getting to that point where I'm beyond being mad at some of this stuff, which I can't really say I can blame or consider to be part of age, because I've seen folks much older than me take this very insulted feel toward it. So, Deep Purple have its prog moments from time to time throughout their career. They have. a great classic rock band. How much of Blackmore's Night have you listened to, Mike? Because that's actually a pretty decent project if you're into that sort of thing. I feel like my mom would like Blackmore's Night a lot, but I've never like given her a sample. I honestly should at some point. Space trucking. Space trucking's fun, man. Space trucking's really fun. Twins history against the Yankees. Well, you know that what that means. It means it's time for them to break out. You know, get the job done. I think there are still some folks that are surprised to know that the Twins have won multiple World Series, and actually did so within a very short period of time. That was what, 87 and 91? Yeah. Because they were the first team to beat the Atlanta Braves. And then Toronto did it, and then Toronto beat Philly. And then we didn't have a series. Because baseball's stupid. And then the Braves won a series. The only series that they won during that big old heyday that they had in the 90s. And man, that was always hard. That was always rough. Well, you'll just have to make sure that the dollar per minute rule is followed, Mikes. Just so you know, man. Animal's not hair metal. They're a little bit more traditional metal. It's pretty good stuff. Shadows of Grief. Oh, man, dude. Talk about Uriah Heep. You're talking Demons and Wizards, man. Maybe not that album specifically, but that's the first thing that everybody applies whenever they hear Uriah Heep. May cut off a little bit early, just to ensure that I get where I need to safely and not rush. Do feel like we do need one more song in order to finish the stream off properly, and y'all have been donating for your favorite songs, so I think that I should perhaps toss on one of mine. I think that just makes sense. Oh, Lord have mercy on my poor pathetic soul. Question is, what do I want to toss on? That's I probably should have thought of that before I announced I was doing this. That would have been the smart and wise thing to do. Well, you know, we're gonna do it. That's just how life is. We did have some Opeth on the program a little bit earlier. I think we're going to go back to the boys. Listen to this song and this album way more times than I can count. We're going to end the stream with Godhead's Lament by Opeth. Because damn, this song is just amazing. We had Moonlamp's Vertigo a couple of days ago. We had Demon of the Fall today. It is time. So on Tuesday, I'm not sure if this will be another favorite song stream on Tuesday. It may just be, you know, donate for whatever you want. It doesn't have to be your favorites. It could be current stuff. It could be old stuff. It could be new stuff. It could be your favorites. You can hate it, you know. But this has been a pretty cool thing. I feel like there's been a lot of great suggestions that have come in here, and I know not all of you have gone with the favorite songs idea. But I do appreciate everybody who has come in, who has donated. That bid war is looking like, damn. Entering into the second to last week is going to be a heck of a battle. Once number one gets, you know, the fuck out of the way. Suicidal Angels? Oh yeah. Yeah, I think I've covered Suicidal Angels in the past. The least favorite song stream? Yeah, if I want nobody to donate because, you know, we have done bad song streams before. That is actually something that could be done. But I tend to like to announce those in advance. And those are always kind of struggle, like, those are a little bit of a struggle because the opinion of what a bad song is not universal. So you'll have folks that'll donate for stuff that they just really find annoying or whatever, but it isn't necessarily a bad song. So you have to be a little bit respectful to one another during those streams. It's a great suggestion. Again, you know, song requests are through donation, my friend. Okay, your boy's gotta eat. Actually, your boy does have to eat, man. Holy crap, it has been a long day that has not been filled with very much of the Lord's frickin' food. YouTube took down yesterday's favorite song stream because of playing the whole Trees of Eternity album. I don't think it was for that specifically. In fact, I think it was because of Moonlapse Vertigo by Opeth that one got taken down. The streams don't stay up for very long. That's a warning that I have made for, you know, weeks now. They do not stay up for too long. They either get blocked worldwide or blocked in certain countries. So it's unfortunate, but it is also not that surprising because of the way in which copyright is handled, especially on YouTube. I'm actually surprised that I got no strikes for it, you know? They just say, hey, this is no longer monetizable, whatever. Twitch does have some issues though, Mike, because if it is something that's copywritten, they'll still show the video, but the audio will be cut. That's on your video on demand, your VODs. But again, like, unlike YouTube, I don't see VODs being as popular of a thing on Twitch, because a lot of times those streams are very lengthy. Like, there was a time frame where I was watching some VODs of one streamer that I really liked. But I could only do that for so long because the streams were so lengthy. You know, these are like 8 to 10 hour streams. I didn't have that kind of time to dedicate to it. So I don't think VODs are quite as popular. Not unless, you know, and this is a guy that streams every single day, you know, for the most part, with limited exceptions. So I guess if it was something where the guy streamed for, or the girl, or, you know, the person streamed for just a couple of hours every couple days, then VODs would be a little more popular, whatever. Meet Mun. Would I mind checking my PayPal, kind sir? I would be delighted to. I would be delighted to. I appreciate whatever it is I'm about to find on there. Meet Mun dropping the 10. Sir, thank you very much. 1, 2, 3, or 4. Where's that 10 heading to? And do you have a song request before we close out the string, my dude? So I will cut Opeth short to get to it. Future thrash metal is A-okay. There's always going to be, I think, a crew that's going to be inspired by those quote-unquote old bands and want to have it out there. I don't think it will have the same respect as the old school groups, though. That'll be the big thing. I think it's going to be a little harder to do that. I think that there are bands that could maybe elicit that same love. There should be 2 donos, both on number 1. I saw only the one. We will take a look once again. So far, it looks like only 1 has gone through, my dude. Never mind, there's the second one. Well, maybe. Hello? Would you like to show up? Would you like to be my friend? There you are. How you doing? Put these on number 1, by the way. Will be done. 20 bucks heading toward number 1. Number 1 now just that much closer. It is now down to $60 roughly. Thank you very much, Meatmun. I appreciate it. Do me a favor, Meatmun. I'm going to actually give you a couple days, man. If you're gonna be here on Tuesday, give me 20 minutes worth of material that you want to hear. Give me 20 minutes worth of music that you want to hear, okay? I appreciate you, dude. Thank you very much, man. Damn it, $60 away from number 1 becoming an official video. I best start putting that thing together, man. That's gonna take some time. Just thinking about that list is going to take a couple days. I mean, I could use the top 25 that I did back in 2011 or 13 or whatever the hell year that was as a nice guide, but damn, adding 25 to that's something else. You're very welcome, Meatmun. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you, my man, woman, child, beast thing. My boo thing. We'll just call you boo thing. Sup? Eyebrow wiggle. I can't pull 20 minutes off tonight, sadly, but I want to give you the opportunity to really think about it. Really think about it. Yeah, we'll be here on Tuesday. Lord willing, and if the creek don't rise, that'll be at our next stream, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you all so much for coming out today. For those of you who are maybe uninitiated and have only been coming to streams for a couple of weeks, this is an odd day for us to do streams. We don't usually stream on weekends. Saturday is a real odd day. But I'm glad to see the turnout. I'm glad that y'all came out and hopefully enjoyed yourself for a couple of hours. I have enjoyed talking with you guys. It has elevated my spirit quite a bit, as I was not... Day was not very good for me prior to this. Nothing had really happened. It was just not a good mental day starting off, and that has certainly changed with this experience, and will be even better whenever I get some food in my belly. Damn. It is right now screaming at me, saying, "Why haven't you fed me, you stupid-looking bastard?" What do I think about Wataine's Trident? Not bad, not bad, not bad. I am still just... I saw them live and they were exceptional. And I have a shirt of theirs that has the lyrics to Reaping Death on the back of it. And I treasure that shirt. I think that shirt's awesome. That's going to do it for me. I have bad timing for streams. I don't see how I do. There's big old 3 hours and 10 minutes. I got things I got to do too. Presence is a decent album. I do believe I have a CD copy of it somewhere. Not bad. Like I said, that's going to do it for me. I will talk with you guys on Tuesday. Take care. Thanks again. Have a good night.